50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
KSMO Radio 1340. Good morning to you. It's time for us to get together, our friends from Intercounty Electric, and talk about different things. And it's a new year. Heather's back with us. How are you, girl? Well, very good. And of course, with a new year comes a whole new array of different activities, and so fun stuff and work, but fun stuff. And work, and right. Anyway, but Intercounty was very nice to give everybody a Christmas present.
Did you get your chocolate?
I got my well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep, they mailed a chocolate. Did you not get your chocolate? No, somebody must have ate it. The Capital Credit check, yes, and your discount on the bill where it says discount.
Hopefully
You looked at that. You're not getting Heather. Well, okay, fine then. I guess you got mad at her.
Nobody knew about the chocolate.
Nobody.
If you wouldn't have said anything.
I didn't say anything. Prove it.
What about chocolate?
Oops. Oops. Anyway, but and we appreciate the chocolate delivered to the station. Thank you very much. But no, we didn't have enough to give it to everybody.
Yeah, but those
Tony's
discounts.
not that nice.
Those discounts and Capital Credit checks sure were nice.
Yes, they were. And they'd always help out this time of year. So
Mm-hmm.
very, very welcome.
Yeah.
So people did get it. However, there are still some people out there that may not have gotten those checks, right?
There are absolutely people who have not gotten those checks. And come June, you'll see a big list in the rural Missouri of people who still have checks. But we've got a list on our website right now for people who did not receive a check for this Capital Credit check run.
Right.
And these are people who we do not have good addresses for. So hop on the website, IECA.coop, and you can click on the Capital Credit link. And it's a PDF file, so you can search for your name and see if you're on there.
Scroll down.
Well, it's a little bit
Harder?
of a weird list this time. It's not in alphabetical order, which
What?
bothers me a lot.
Why would it not be in alphabetical order?
It's in order by your membership number, and most people don't know your membership number. I know. If you could see Stan's face,
Well, 1966600.
is that your account number?
Yeah, probably. That's not my membership number?
That's not your membership number.
Well, why wouldn't it be my membership number? That's my account number.
Well, some members have more than one account. So you want a
true.
single membership number.
That's true.
And
That's
then
true.
if you have
Didn't think
multiple
about it like
accounts,
that.
you
Okay.
have different account
I have
numbers.
one. I have one, so I have one.
Right. You have one of
No,
each.
I don't know what my membership number then
Yeah,
would be.
most people don't. But since it's a PDF file, it's searchable, and you can just click in that little search field and type your name. And
Did you put in your 2 cents and saying that
Yes,
let's
I
put
did.
that
I
alphabetically
put in
next
like
time?
5 cents. So hopefully
You
next
gave him a
time.
dime and wanted change
Yeah,
back, huh?
the one that goes in the rural Missouri, I'll make sure is in
Yeah,
alphabetical.
yeah, wow.
That's my baby. So
So,
we'll
okay.
we'll make sure that one's alphabetical.
All right. So there is a list, but it's not in alphabetical form, so you're going to have to search it.
Yeah.
Unless you know your membership number.
Well, that's true. And then you can
It
scroll.
would be
through
on
there.
your bill.
It would be.
Well,
Mhm.
so if you are an intercounty customer and you did not get, well, they wouldn't have gotten their bill if they don't have a good address.
Right. The people
So-
who did not receive their check, the vast majority are going to be people that have moved off of the system. There may be some that just recently moved and were a member fairly recently, but the majority of the people on this list are going to be previous members that now live maybe within the city limits
Timbuktu.
or somewhere else. So if you got your check, but your mom moved into the city, look for your mom's name and see if she's got a check due to her that we can't get to her, because chances are if we've got one this time, come
Won't
next
be
year.
there next time. Yeah, that forwarding runs out.
Yeah. So just hop on there and take a look. And
People really don't realize how many times your address is used when you move into a place or move away.
right.
You really don't remember how many different people use your address. The IRS uses your address,
Mm-hmm.
and of course your utilities use your address, post office use your address. But any notices you're supposed to get, would use that old address. Well, you
Right.
don't remember
Right.
any of that stuff.
And it is, when you're thinking about moving, notifying your previous utility provider probably isn't at the top of your list, especially if you've moved multiple times. Maybe if you're moving out of the country into, say, the city of Salem, you've probably notified us at that time that, hey, here's my forwarding address in case I have a final bill or in case I have capital credit checks. But say maybe later on you
Moved again.
You moved again into senior housing or maybe even out of the city of Salem. When your address changes for the second or third time, it's easy to forget about, oh yeah, I need to let my
So
old...
I have a question. I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, let's just say that somebody who had an account with Intercounty and they moved into the city and then they moved back to the county. Would they have the same account number?
No, they would not.
So now you could get 2 checks.
Well, you would still have the same membership number.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
That's what I meant. The membership number would still be the same.
You could have the same, that membership number. That's your number as a member. So
no matter what.
no matter what account, how many
Okay.
accounts.
So you can move in and out of the county, back to the city, and then back to the county 57 times, and that would still be your membership number.
That's right.
Okay.
And if for some reason maybe you got married in between there, or divorced, or say a name changed, and when you set up your new account, for some reason we didn't get it set up with the same membership number because we didn't recognize you as a previous member, you would still be entitled to those old capital credits. You would
Sure.
still be getting them. It would just be that you would have 2 different membership numbers.
Well, the problem
an
is
old
if you
and a
got
new.
married and did that, would be in the wrong name.
Right. And if you got married and then your account was a joint account with your spouse, you would have a new membership number because that old membership was just under you. And then this new membership would be under you and your spouse.
So if you're as confused as I am, just call customer service.
Right. And the membership number is important to us. That's how we track
Well,
these
sure.
capital credits. But we take care of all that work behind the scenes. And like I said, even if for some reason you ended up with multiple numbers, we're still going to, as long as we have a good address, we're still going to get that check
All right.
or checks to you.
Okay. Or if you had, let's say it was your parents' home and you moved and now you're moving. Now, if they move back, if it's not the parents anymore, maybe they've retired in the city and the child moves back, that would be a different
That would be a
membership
different membership. Right.
Maybe a same account number?
No.
Oh. I'm just trying to throw,
Yeah.
a little more confusion.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You will
Look,
still...
I'll tell you what, if you did not get a check and you knew that you were an Intercounty customer,
Right.
you should have gotten a check, call.
That's right.
Or go online and check it out. And if you know your membership number, you'll be in a lot better shape.
Just use the little search bar and type in your name and it'll find you.
Really? You think that works?
It does work.
Usually?
It does work.
Sometimes.
It worked on my computer because I tried it when I saw that the
Well,
list
some
was not in.
some PDF forms, if they're a separate form, if it's not in the search program, won't find it.
Well, this one does.
Okay. So you guys set up that search inside the PDF. Otherwise, it won't find it.
Right.
But the PDF form is separate.
Right.
Okay. Very good.
Yes.
You guys are right on top of it. But you definitely want to do that. So make sure that if that money is yours, get that money. Well, that's one of
right.
our major concerns. So many times we just do things and we forget. You know, and you may say, oh, it's not that much. Well, it may not be that much
This time.
this time. But it may have been that much years ago.
Right. And over the course of however many years you still have that you earned capital credits in, that does add up. And that's yours
You're
as a
doggone
member.
right it adds up. I always like getting the check.
Yeah. I'm getting close to getting to the point where I'll start to get a check, which will be nice.
What?
Yeah. Because we just paid out some of 2099
$99.
and
And
a
again-
portion of 2000.
Right. I was going.
Yeah.
Oh, and a portion too. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say 99, and then some that was recent, right? And some that was recent.
The discount was
Right.
recent,
Right.
right? But the capital credits were from
Yeah.
99 and 2000.
But you got the discount.
I got the discount, but not a capital credit. I was still in high school then.
Does that mean you can't have your own membership number?
I guess if I was living on my own and paying on my own
Maybe,
electric
you know,
bill, I
maybe
would
you-
have.
Maybe you had your own well out there. You were putting a garden in it. Who
I could have
knows,
had,
you know?
yeah.
And you had a light for your well or a
Yeah.
heater for your well. On your own. Okay. So
Anyway,
so much
in a
heck,
few
you're not
years
much
I'll
past a
start getting a
teenager now.
capital. I'll start getting a capital
So
credit
you're
check
still a
in a few years.
teenager for me. You know, you're still a young puppy. It's just you are. You're
Well, thank you.
you know, just barely over 20.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
There you go.
Makes it a little odd that my kids are the age they are, but
That doesn't make any difference. Children age rapidly.
yes, they do.
Once you hit over 30, you don't age that fast.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
It's supposed to work that way. All right, but so make sure if you don't have your address up to date, or if you're planning a move, now is the time to let them know.
Right.
Say, hey.
We'll keep it updated and we'll keep sending you
Well,
checks.
right, and if you already have your new address, you can let them know. Because as you mentioned, that last bill, if you're paying, if you want to get that last bill paid, usually the forwarding will go. But a lot of people don't put forwarding in anymore.
I know. It's
They
become a bigger problem than it has been.
Well, they don't use the postal service that much, so they don't
Right.
think about it. But all your legal documents have to come by mail.
That's
Not
absolutely
by
right.
email, not by text, not by PDF. And even if you have an FTP, you can't do it that way. Which I'm thinking, well, that's pretty private. Good enough.
Yeah. Good old mail.
Well, we got to do it by U.S. Postal Service. So kind of keep that in mind. Okay, very good. All right. Of course, January also means getting ready for the new cycle of tours.
Yes. Youth tour
Getting all pumped about that.
and cycle. That's the fun stuff I was talking
Oh,
about
I
for
know,
January.
I know. But I mean, that's pump. That's getting pump time.
It is. It's really exciting because Youth Tour, if you're not familiar with it, is our essay contest that Intercounty sponsors each year. And we have a really great board that understands the importance of this program and the impact that it has on the lives of these youth that end up going on the trip. And Intercounty is the co-op in Missouri that sponsors the most students. And
Really?
I think our membership should be really proud of that.
I didn't know that.
And we are. Yep. We send 9 high school juniors to Washington, D.C., and we send 18 to Jeff City for cycle. And that's
You have the possibility of doing that. Yeah, sometimes
Right.
kids can't make those
if
days.
if the kids, for some reason aren't able to make the trip, or maybe if the school doesn't have
3 finalists.
3 finalists, then we wouldn't have the full. But our board approves 9 to DC and 18 to Jeff City every year. They make that investment in the youth, and that's a big deal. There are co-ops that send one to DC and 1 to Jeff City. There are co-ops that may send 1 to DC and
They
2 to
just
Jeff
have one
City.
contest for everybody?
Yes.
Ooh.
So it's a lot more difficult to win,
Well,
when
yeah.
there's fewer spots and you're competing against more students. So Intercounties is a really huge opportunity for high school juniors within Intercounty service territory. So we've got 9 high schools, and the students do not have to be Intercounty members. We get asked that a lot, or their parents don't have to be members, I should say. So if right here in Salem, if you go to Salem School, but your parents live inside City of Salem and they're not Intercounty members, that doesn't matter.
It's okay.
You can still write the essay and participate in the contest and try out for that.
Okay, it's
trip.
not just any student that can do this, though, is it?
No, it's just high school juniors. So these seniors this year, if they missed it last year, they don't get a chance.
Oh, you're done.
And these sophomores kind of chomping at the bit, ready to do it, they've got to wait another year. So high school juniors, huge opportunity. You're only competing against juniors, and you're only competing against juniors at your high school. So Salem kids aren't competing against Mountain Grove, Rolla, Licking, Houston. They're just competing against the students in their class.
Makes it a lot easier to win.
It does.
And, of course, too, we talk about this. This is not a 3-week adventure that you have to go study and dig up information and go into the archives of Intercounty, and they'll put you into the dungeon down there to go find a treasure hunt or anything.
Right.
It's a 500-word essay.
250 to 500 words.
I know, max. I'm talking max
yes.
500 words. So that's not that big a
It's
deal.
not.
So do we have a topic this year?
We do. This year we're asking the students to write about what they think Intercounty's role should be in solar cars. We've had a lot of interest A lot of questions recently about solar cars. Is Intercounty going to get a solar car? Is Intercounty going to put in solar car charging stations? There's a lot of talk
Talking
about
about solar cars or just electric cars?
electric cars.
Because
I'm
solar,
sorry.
I mean, solar cars are what the
Solar cars is
is what the
S&T.
S&T students.
I'm glad you corrected me on
Yeah,
that. They
'cause
think
I'm thinking they get charged by the sun.
charging station for solar cars. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
No.
Electric vehicles.
There you go.
Yeah. So, we attend a lot of fairs. So there's talk about, well, maybe we should have an electric vehicle and maybe we should be supporting that technology and using that vehicle when we go to different events. And then the charging stations are really a big topic right now. Should we be putting those in? Should we be providing those? Should we have them available at our offices or should we have them across the service territory? Lot of member interests, a lot of member questions, and so technology, as you know, is something that students today are really on top of.
Right.
A lot more so than many of us. So we would like to hear what these students think about what Intercounty's role in all of that should be.
And they really need to look at the market and how things have changed in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, when I was in Florida, I was reading this article that the electric cars, they're stopped making. There's not going to be any more Volt by Chevy. They're stopped making it. Doesn't mean it's dead now. It just means because the demand right now for electric cars with gas at $1.68 or 70 a gallon isn't there.
Right.
So the hybrids have stopped selling. Again, the electric cars have stopped selling. Now, as soon as gas goes back up to $3.65 a gallon,
the demand will be there.
The demand will go back up
Right.
to a different alternative method of powering vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, electric seems to be most logical. And they have developed some technology. The problem is the batteries don't last very long. And then, as you mentioned, the availability of charging stations. You
Right.
can only go so many miles on an electric car, and then you've got to plug her in.
Plug it in. So where are you going to plug it in at?
Yeah, that becomes a problem.
And is that a consumer's responsibility to have that at their home, or is that something communities should provide?
Well, it is. I think it's both. And I mean, I hope the kids come up with something just what you're talking about. I think it's both. But here's the thing: the electric cars, and if you really talk to a dealership, it's made for municipalities or larger cities only.
Right.
It doesn't go far enough. So if you go try and drive across Kansas,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble. And they'll tell you, no, you can't take it on a long trip. So you're going to have to rent a car that's a
Right.
gas-powered car to go on a long auto trip. Now, if you want to go to the airport and back, and you're fine,
Right.
But, anything that I think the max, I think a Prius. Don't quote me on this because I didn't do a lot of study, but the max was like 138 miles before you got to go get it recharged. Or you have to hit brakes. So you can't get on the interstate for 5 hours because the battery goes down. And the only way to charge the battery is hitting your brakes. Well, if you're doing 75 miles an hour, it doesn't charge your
can't.
battery.
Well,
You have to hit the brakes to charge your battery.
that's interesting.
It's like, And how much does that actually charge your battery?
Right.
I guess if you're doing 70 miles an hour, slam them on, boy, it should pop the whole thing back up. But I don't know that.
my.
But that's a very good
Right.
question because that's going to come back. That's going to be another way that we're going to get around.
Right.
And I think the next question next year should be autonomous cars. Should there be autonomous cars?
Right.
That'd be a really good question because
There's a whole lot of ethical issues
Well,
I think that surround that.
how many cameras can you have on a car that can see everything?
Right. Well, and
I mean, really, when you think about it. Okay, now, do you have a newer car?
2016.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you have that sensor where it tells you that you're going over the line or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Try doing that in snow.
Doesn't work, does
Doesn't
it?
work. Even your collision sensor in the front where it says, well, it'll detect you and stop you, not if it's raining, goes off. Uh-oh. Because it'll tell you right on
Right.
it, but it only shows up for about 3 seconds. Automatic sensor disabled. And the only way to enable it again is you got to stop the car and restart
Before it's enabled
before
again.
it's enabled again. Now, do you hear those on the commercial?
No.
No. But you always see them stop in time before they hit somebody, but they're not showing them in rain,
Snow or
snow, thunderstorms, ice storms, because there's no way a camera can read lines if there's no lines. There's no way a camera can see through the, fog or anything. Can't see anything. So it just disables it. So there has to be somebody there. That's
Yeah.
why I get a little scared when they start talking about these autonomous cars. How's that ever going to happen? There is a human factor.
human judgment.
Yeah, has to be in there. So, but that would be a really cool topic.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
I'll share that.
Well, I think it'd be a cool topic.
Yeah, it would
See
be.
what kids think. I think they think it'd be all great because it's all automatic. They can
Right.
get in their car, get on their phone, do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's still not going to be accidents.
Right. That's absolutely right. Well, we're excited to see what the kids have
Right.
to say about the future of electric vehicles and what role they think Intercounty should have in that. If
Right.
we should have one at all, or if we
Yeah.
should be the primary provider. I'm sure we'll get all kinds of.
I bet you'll get some interesting answers.
I think we will too. These students the last several years have really impressed us with the ideas that they've shared in these essays, and it's always interesting to read through those and see what their thought processes are. So I'm excited
good.
to see what comes about these. But that's the essay topic.
Right.
And as we mentioned, it's 250 to 500 words, not a super long essay. And the
It has
students.
to be written in script.
Now you're gonna.
I'm lying. I'm kidding.
You just kicked half of them out.
Yeah, I'm more than likely I did.
But
Do they even teach script anymore much?
my son's in 3rd grade and he's doing cursive this
Yeah,
year.
that's good.
Yeah, but I think
That's good.
I think it's the teacher's choice if they want to.
Yeah, I know I was in Tennessee, and I remember they were complaining that people couldn't write their names anymore.
Couldn't sign them.
Couldn't sign their name. So they're going to put cursive and script writing back into the
Well,
curriculum.
good.
But that was Tennessee.
Right.
I don't know if that's in Missouri.
I don't know.
Can tell you. Somebody told me the other day that somebody actually was teaching them again, but don't know. I don't know that for a fact. But let me ask you a question. So all right, we already know what the topic's going to be. We already
Right.
know it's only for juniors, and we already know that we're at that time of year. But there's a cutoff date for this, isn't there?
There is, and each school will submit their top 3 essays to Intercounty, which means the school is judging those essays. And I do want to point out that when those are turned in to either the high school counselor or the junior English teacher, it's usually one or the other in all of the schools, those essays are turned in with a cover sheet with your information, but your name is not on the essay themselves. What the teachers or the counselor does is they separate those, they number them 1, 2, 3 or ABC, and then they have a panel of teachers and staff at the school that read all the submitted essays, judge those, rank them, and then that coordinator, whether it's the English teacher or the counselor, then they pair those back up with the cover sheet, they determine who the top 3 are, and then those top 3 are the ones that come to Intercounty.
I see. So there's a time factor in there. So even though we say it has to be in by March 1st, it has to be sent to Intercounty by March
Right.
1st from the school. So the school may have a cutoff date of February 22nd.
Right, and each school is able to set that themselves. So top 3 are due to Intercounty by March 1st, which means the school is going to set their deadline prior to that so that they have time for their staff to judge
Exactly.
those essays. So please check with your high school counselor or your junior English teacher to see when your specific deadline will be. Hopefully next month I'll have that information for several of the schools. We're getting ready to go and visit each of them,
Right.
and we talk to the students about this opportunity and the essay and the trips, which we haven't even talked about.
Right. Do you guys take a slideshow with you about?
We do. We've got a
so-
little. It's usually like 4 to 6 minutes long. It's some clips of the previous year's trip. So
Is that from the chaperones that take those?
we actually pass the video camera around to the students during
Oh.
the trip, and we have the students record different points in the trip. Of course, we have just some regular B-roll footage of the monuments and different museums that we can
Sure,
throw in
yeah.
there. But it's nice for the kids to get to watch that and look for the student that went the last year from their school. So, they can keep their eyes
That
out.
might be
for,
kind of fun to have, maybe an interesting little contest that actually would Intercounty might want to think about, because I come up with these ideas for you guys all the time. Is actually have some of the students, after they go on these trips, to submit a video from their phone or something that they found most intriguing about their trip.
That would be
And
neat.
then the one that has the best video that you could incorporate in your promotional video for the next year would win a prize, one for the cycle tour and then one for the Washington, D.C. tour.
That would be interesting.
And then maybe, give them, I don't know, a plaque or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because since they don't have to be an Intercounty customer, you can't say, give them $50 in Intercounty
Yeah.
credit.
Well, and that's more for the parents than for the
but
student.
but something for the student that can get, I don't know, Cardinal baseball, I don't care.
Right.
Just maybe come up
Something.
with something would be small just for submitting a video. I don't know how many would do it, but since they all have their phones nowadays and they all take videos
Right.
of everything, maybe they're going to catch something in their video that nobody else did.
Our statewide organization, they're the ones that really coordinate all this youth tour. Because Intercounty, as I mentioned, is not the only co-op
Right.
that sends students. There's over 100 that go from Missouri, and once the students get out to Washington, D.C., there's around 1,500 students from across the nation. So
But you have the largest contingent.
we do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to see what the kids see?
It would. But what I was going to say is our statewide organization last year, for the first time, they did a video contest for students that were on the trip, and that was offered to all the Missouri students. I need to see if I can find that video, the one that won.
Well,
But
that would be fine to do that, too, but I think it'd be fine for you to take something
specific for Intercounty kids.
for this area. What may interest people in Kansas City may not interest, or let's
Our
just say
local-
northern Missouri,
our local students.
may not interest people in south central Missouri.
Right.
And just see what they have. Anyway, I just thought it would be an interesting thing to do because, cut it down to 2 minutes or whatever,
Right.
max 2-minute clip.
Right.
They can download that off the phone to you guys
Yeah.
in no time.
Okay.
Put it on YouTube.
You're full of ideas today.
I think it's just a neat idea because, first off, the kids are using that technology anyway. So now if they actually have to go and search their clips, how many times you see people take pictures on their phone and they never go look at them again?
Right.
All right? So if you have to go back through that, it's going to make them think about that trip again, over and over again,
Right.
and what happened and how much fun
Right.
it was and what they learned. Because if there's a, if you give them $15,000 for the best video, they'd really do it. But we're not going to do
I'm sure
that.
they would.
But I'm just saying, if it would be an interesting thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
Post on the Intercounty website. I don't
Yeah.
care. Why not?
Play it at annual meeting.
Pay it in the meetings.
Okay.
Play it during the big picnic in June.
That's the annual meeting.
I know, but play it at the big picnic.
Yeah.
It's hard to play it. You might have to put that on a smaller screen depending upon how sunny it is. If you put it on a big screen, you may not be able to see it.
Well, we've got that nice pavilion under
You
there
do have
now.
a nice pavilion. Yeah, you could put that in there.
Yeah.
That's right. Be good.
Have to project it on something. We can figure it out.
But
We'll have to.
I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Because the way the kids are with technology today, that would be an easy thing for them, but it would make them actually look for more things.
Right.
I think. Instead of just
And share
watching.
with us.
And
They-
share.
And, it's easier for them a lot of times
I
to
need-
share.
You guys need to
things
hire
like
me.
that. Full of ideas today,
That's
Stan.
just it. I'm the idea guy.
Get you some business cards made. Idea
IECA idea guy.
idea guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan. But yes.
Well, what
if-
would you do without me?
I know. We wouldn't have any great ideas, would we?
What other radio station interview do you have where you get ideas like this?
Just Salem.
Enough said.
If you have a junior, hopefully they are in school today and they're not listening. But if you have a junior or a junior, please encourage them to watch for us in the school. We're going to be coming and talking to them about this opportunity. It really is minimal effort on their part to write this essay. They can make top 3. Once they make top 3, then we're going to send them a question and answer booklet. Question and answer. I want to emphasize that.
Yeah.
Questions about Intercounty specifically, but co-ops in general. And we invite them to come to Intercounty one Saturday morning in March. And we ask them, I believe it's 8 questions, 6 to 8 questions out of that book. Each student is asked the same questions, and they are scored on how well they do in the interview. That interview score then determines if they're going to Washington, D.C., or if they're going to Jefferson City. But one student from each school can win that D.C. trip, and 2 can go to Jeff City, which is a big deal. And not only is it a huge opportunity and an amazing experience, these things look wonderful on college applications.
Well, exactly. And your resumes, too.
And your resumes. So keep that in mind as you're...
if they know what a resume is.
If they know, hopefully they do.
Yeah.
Give them some credit, Stan.
Well, no, I mean
They can probably make one on their phone.
but that's if they text it.
Right.
But it's not a true resume. And you know how formal resumes need to have some information that's pertinent,
Right.
and when people text, they tend to abbreviate
Right. Well,
too much.
hopefully they've got teachers and counselors and
Well, I mean, they
family
should.
that are helping
Well,
them
if
with.
you want to try and go to a major corporation, you better have it on paper, and it
Right.
better be done right.
Right.
Or they're just going to say, "Yep, throw it away."
Yeah.
File 13.
Yeah. Where'd that go?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I submitted my application. Wow, we must have lost it. In file 13. No, but but it is. It's great It's great for your future. You're right. College applications, they want to see how involved you are, and then you show that. And same thing happens on jobs. If you're involved and you do stuff like this, and you're willing to go to Jeff City, or you're willing to go to D.C., or you're willing to do something to get there,
That makes you
they
stand
want you.
out.
They want go-getters. They don't want people who are just laissez-faire.
Right.
Got to carry the weight.
Yeah.
Pull along.
And we've had students come back from this trip that sometimes maybe they didn't know what they wanted to do after high school. Sometimes they thought they knew, and they come back and they have this huge interest in government that maybe they didn't have just by sitting in class and going through their textbooks and learning in that traditional method.
Right.
They get out there, and the world's bigger than just your little hometown.
And I think that was the point you made when we talked about this last year. That or maybe it was in June when we talked about trip, and they were talking about their trips. Coming back from, I think it was actually from Jeff City. Somebody came back and just said they had no idea.
Right.
They had opened their eyes to a whole
Right.
new thing. But you're right. For people who may have never been out of this area, especially children,
Right.
and all of a sudden you go to D.C. and the world has changed.
That's right.
Even you go to St. Louis is one thing, but go to D.C., you can get on the metro, or you can get on the trains, and then you go to Arlington, and then you see this, and then you see that, and then, it's like it never ends. There's just so many things going on.
Right.
So it's pretty amazing.
These students find out they can be a part of something really big when they're awarded these trips, and they
Absolutely.
take advantage of that opportunity to go. It's life-changing
Yeah.
for the majority of them. And even the students that win the trips to Jeff City, I'm not going to say they're not disappointed, because I think there is a little bit of disappointment when they don't win that Washington, D.C. trip.
Sure.
But we really encourage those kids, hey, please go to Jeff City. You're going to have an amazing time. It's a huge opportunity. And I can honestly say they come back and they're just thrilled with the experience that they've had, and they're grateful that they've gone. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had students that do not want to go,
Yeah.
are grouchy when they get there. And I say this because it's very
You've been there, huh?
it's very true. The parents are making them go, and
Yeah.
the kids don't want to go, and they get back and they'll tell us, I didn't want to go, my mom made me go.
But
It's
now.
the best trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
I've made friends that I'm going to have on into college, or
Right.
we found out that we are applying at the same college. I found out that maybe I want to go into some sort of government job. Maybe politics interests them after they get back. There's just, it's really eye-opening. And
It's happened before.
so maybe you have a student that goes and maybe they're awarded the Jeff City trip instead of the DC trip. Encourage them to be proud of that, because that's still a huge accomplishment. And and it's still a huge opportunity.
Oh,
So
it's educational, but it's fun and
Right.
educational, and you'll learn a lot, and they'll see a lot. You'll get a chance to. I mean, when you go to Jeff City, if you go to I know we went and actually saw a state penitentiary for the first time last year, which I've always wanted to do.
Right.
Okay, so I did it. I didn't do that haunted tour, which I really kind of wanted to do, but we went anyway. So it was very educational, just to see how it was and why they called it the worst penitentiary in the United States for a long time. Well, okay, you hear these stories and you get a chance to actually see what it's all about. When you go back in history, and I think history is not overrated. I've heard so many people say history is overrated. It's not overrated because you came from somewhere.
Right.
You need to know where you came from. You need to know why we do what we do, whether it's a state or intercounty. You don't want to go back to what it was in the 1940s.
Right. And there's no sense in making the same mistakes over
Exactly.
again if you've
So learn from what happened. But Jeff City is a potpourri of history of the state of Missouri. Truly is. And you'll learn a bunch. And look at all the different things. As you're going through the Capitol, look at everything in the Capitol because it's cool.
Yeah. We were up there for some basketball games last weekend, and the dome's all covered, and the kids are a little disappointed that.
They're working on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's okay.
They got to do repairs.
Yeah. I'd forgot they were working on it, actually.
Well,
I'm like, keep your eyes open. We're
Yeah.
going to be able to see it.
yes, it's not like they advertise when they're working on it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But there's a lot of
anyway.
things. But there's a lot of different things in Jefferson City that if you just go, and I know a lot of people say, well, you always see more stuff when you go to visit someplace than you do in your hometown. That's always true. But I've run across parks in Jeff City I didn't even know existed, and I ran into them by accident.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of like to do. Sometimes you take those off roads, get off the interstate, get off the big roads, and go.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you'll look and you'll see something that
You've never
I
seen
didn't
before.
even know that was here. So enjoy it. And the same thing in D.C. You get so many things that are just off the main path. You got to stop. You can't just keep going. That's why, sometimes with today's technology, it'll tell you where things are at, but you need to go see them. You need to go touch them.
Right.
Go out there by the water. Go out by the Potomac. Smell it. You can get the whole thing. Go out by the pier. Hear the water coming up and splash. Hear it.
Right.
Feel it. Look out there. Say, Washington crossed that? Threw $1 across that? That's a lot. That was a heavy dollar round, and he had a heck of an arm.
I was going to say.
Well, he was at the narrower end of the Potomac, obviously. Sometimes that Potomac's a big old river when
Yeah,
you get right
it
there by
sure
D.C.
is.
So, anyway, but it's a great trip, great opportunity for juniors, only for juniors. And parents, if you're listening to this, or grandparents, if you're listening to this, tell those kids to do this, and I guarantee you they're not going to want to write it.
They're not. They hear essay, and I can tell you firsthand from going to these schools and talking to the kids, you start to talk about it, you mention essay, and half of them check out. They're like, it's an extra assignment, it's an essay, I don't want to have to write anything.
It's work.
Let me tell you,
not that
if
much
you're
work.
going to go on to college, you're going to be doing a heck of a lot more than 250 to 500 word essays. So take this as a little
Are you
bit of
speaking from your knowledge
experience.
bank?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Take this opportunity to write a short essay, work on your writing skills. Maybe you don't win either trip. I promise you, you will not have invested a whole lot of time in a 250 to 500 word essay on a topic that these students probably already have an opinion on anyway.
That's exactly right.
So,
Put your opinion down on paper.
right. And a lot of times what we hear the kids say is, everybody else is going to write it and I probably won't have a chance. And there's people smarter than me going to write it. I'm not going to have a chance.
Has nothing to do with smarts.
A lot of times we take the top 3 essays and the school may have 1 or 2 to submit because that's all that wrote the essay. Since it's not
Not required.
it's not required. Some schools, I know Summersville, a lot of times the teacher uses this as an opportunity for an assignment. She makes it an assignment, and then it's up to the kids if they want to submit it for the contest or not. So they usually have pretty high participation because the students realize, hey, if I'm going to write it, I might
Part of
as
their
well
course.
submit it for the contest.
Sure.
But not every school does that, and there have been plenty of times where we don't even have the minimum 3,
Yeah.
or the maximum 3, because there's only been 1 or 2 students that write the essay.
Well, it makes it easy on the school, I guess.
It does, but it's a shame for the kids.
Somebody's missing out.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand where you're
Yeah.
coming from. So, anyway, if you're listening out there and you have a youngster that is a junior, highly encourage them to write this very, very short essay. And trust me, 250 to 500 words
It's a
is
page.
nothing.
Well, I think I told you last year, one of the kids said, that's not an essay, that's a blog entry. I'm like, sure, we'll go with
Okay,
that.
call it that.
I'm like, if that makes it more appealing.
I've written alderman stories that are longer, 250
Yeah.
words, so it's not that big a deal. You can do it. All right, so this is going on in February, and actually you make your presentation
We'll be in
in
the
Salem.
schools in January.
Okay, I know.
I
but
don't- I don't know
You don't
what
have dates
date.
yet? Okay.
Nope.
Or you're not aware of the dates, maybe.
Karen started calling the schools yesterday.
Ah.
So I'm not sure if Salem is scheduled yet or if we've just left a message with Salem, but we are getting them all on the calendar.
Okay, so next time we get together in February, you'll have the cutoff dates. We'll know everything,
Right.
and we'll repeat. We probably won't go in as much depth as we just did, but we'll remind everybody to get those essays in. Salem does not require it as a course curriculum, so it's not going to be that way. They'll have to submit it on their own.
That's right.
Only juniors. There's only one Salem school that has juniors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay, and there's only going to be about 120 or so juniors.
Students.
So figure it out, guys.
Right.
It's not a bad odds, really. 120
And that's if
and
they
3 people.
all
And that's what
participated.
everybody did. But just think, that's still not bad odds.
Right. And we've had years where Salem has not had 3 students
No, I know.
participate. So write it.
It's crazy.
Write it.
So, anyhow, and we'll try and remind everybody to get that done. So, and it's not hard, guys. It might, take a half hour? Put a little thought into it, write it down a half hour, then rewrite it, make sure you got, because I know if I write stuff. If I write stuff,
Go
I
back
have to
and
go
read it
back
later.
and rewrite it. If I just go straight and type it, usually don't. It's pretty amazing. I don't know why that happens.
Huh.
When I write it, as I'm typing it, I'm saying it in my head. So before I ever put it on paper, I can get it the way I want it to say. When I write it, I just keep writing as I'm thinking. And then when I go back, I don't like the way that sounds. I'll scratch that out.
Right.
And I'll change it. I'll move this word here. Something crazy. Everybody's different. All right, very good. What else does Heather have for us? It's It's going to be February, and we've got Valentine's Day coming up. And what is anything special going on for Valentine's Day? Nothing?
I don't
No
know.
sweetheart anything or nothing?
We gave you chocolates at Christmas.
Well, you gave
Steve.
me chocolates at Christmas.
I think Tony actually
Well,
gave
yeah,
you chocolate.
no, you didn't give us chocolates. Tony came in and he gave us plenty. Yeah,
good.
yeah, he did. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk a little bit about winter, because I think everybody still is in the energy conservation mode. We're all still doing that. We're all finding very efficient stuff. So let's talk a little bit about winter. This is the time when people start finding that maybe their heating systems aren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Might be time to replace that. And if you're thinking about replacing it, think about it. You can get a rebate from Intercounty for those heat
For heat
source
pumps.
Yes.
Right.
Might be an option you might want to look at.
Right. And hopefully you don't have to worry about replacing those in the middle of winter, because that probably means yours is completely.
No, but usually in the
out.
middle of winter is when you start to find out that yours is about on its last leg.
Yeah. So definitely take a look at our rebates. You can find those online at ieca.coop, or you can pick up a brochure about our rebate program at any of our offices. But if you are having to replace your heating and cooling system, definitely take a look at heat pumps. They're a very efficient choice, and as Stan mentioned, there are rebates available as long as you meet some minimum guidelines, so you can get a little bit of money back. And that rebate program is designed to be an incentive for our members to choose the more efficient option, because not only does that help the members, it helps them on their electric bill, but it helps Intercounty as well, because when our members are efficient, our members are using less, which means we are purchasing less power, and hopefully not setting as high of a peak, which we don't talk about a whole lot
Not
anymore.
too much anymore.
But our rates are determined by our peak demand. Our power provider wants to, or has to be able to guarantee us the power that we need based on
Your peak
the
demand.
peak demand that our members set. So if our members are demanding a higher amount of kilowatt hours at one time, then our power provider has to charge us
Wow.
for that amount. So
And these usually happen in the summer with the air conditioning seasons. It's usually your peak, but we have had that in the
Winter.
winter time as
our
well.
last couple have been in the winter.
Because the summers haven't been extraordinarily bad.
No, but we actually 2 winters ago we set a peak, and then this past winter in January, not this month, but last year this time we set a new peak. So it's been the winter, and everybody knows these winters have been rough, and electric bills have been
But people,
not pleasant.
But in adding to that, though, we go right back to those people using those auxiliary heaters in addition to, which has also kicked that demand up.
Right.
Because unfortunately, people have bought into some of these ads that said super efficient,
Right.
put
Pennies
it
a day.
heat your room, and it'll cost you pennies a day. Well, okay. If you have it on the lowest setting and it comes on every 1 hour for 5 seconds, it may cost you pennies a day.
Well, they don't tell you how many pennies a day. You
They
could
don't
go buy
say
a new
anything.
vehicle, and they could tell you, oh, it's only going to cost you pennies a day.
Well, it's costing you pennies a day until you turn it on.
Well, this is true
Oh
too.
yeah, I mean, well, it's the honest to God truth. You know that as well as I do.
Right.
If you have a 1,500 watt space heater, and you've got that on, and you've got another heating source, and let's say you have a electric furnace, and say, I don't know, maybe it's a 30,000 BTU furnace, and it's going to be, it's going to use electric. So you got that electric on. Now you got the electric on for your
Space heater.
1,500 watt space heater, which is 1,500 watts.
Right.
Okay, now unless you have the adjustable one, which goes to 6 or 9 or 15, there are some of those that do adjust to that.
Right.
You don't have to use a full amount if you don't want to, but still, if you have that on and then you're cooking, and then all of a sudden, well, mom wants a space heater in her back bedroom because it's too cold. All of a sudden now you've got 3,000 watts going. You see what I'm saying? It just
Right.
starts adding up.
And the problem that we run into a lot, as far as concerns or complaints, if you will, that our members have when they call in, they've bought into the marketing, as you mentioned,
Exactly what I'm saying.
that they've been told and they've believed that they've bought an efficient space heater. Well, I paid X number.
$400
I
for
paid a
this.
lot of money for this one because this one's supposed to cut my electric bill in half, and this is an efficient one. If it's a 1,500 watt space heater, it doesn't matter if you paid $400 for it or $40 for it. It is still a 1,500 watt space heater. And if you run that, and most people don't run them 24 hours a day for all 30 days of the month, but just to give you a ballpark idea, that's just over $90 a month. If you run
24/7?
one space heater 24/7 for a full month. So
That's one.
that's one. And we have members that
And 5.
that have several. And so maybe they're not using it 24 hours a day. Maybe they're only using them for 5, 6, 7 hours a day. But when you've got half a dozen of them or a couple of them even, that really starts to add up. And something else we see a lot of times with space heaters is members putting those in their well houses. The majority of times a light bulb will be sufficient and is going to use a lot less than a space heater. So, if you're using or thinking about using a space heater and you've got some questions about usage, give us a call. Let us kind of walk you through that and show you how to do the calculations, and maybe we can give you some suggestions on other solutions to whatever you might be using that space heater for.
So when we talk about these space heaters, and we're talking about these things are energy eaters.
They are.
They're not conserving energy, and they are to be a temporary source of heat.
Right.
Short duration temporary source. So if you have, like we have a back room, we don't. Well, I have heat in the floor. We have radiant heat in the floor, which you talk about putting up an electric bill in a heartbeat. That'll do it. But we also have a space heater back there. We don't spend all that much time back there, so why would I heat the floor 24/7?
Right.
Which is when I found out how expensive it could be doing that, because it's basically the same thing. When it kicks on, you're getting, I think it's 1,100 watts. So it's That's a lot of wattage to go through the floor.
Right.
Because the floor's cold. It's concrete. It's in concrete.
And
it takes
it's
a
gonna
while
be
for
running.
that concrete to warm up.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna run for a while. You don't hear it. You don't do anything except feel the heat on your feet. Of course, heat rises, so your room is pretty warm. However, if we're only back there for half hour, I'll turn on the space heater. Half hour, and then when I'm done, I turn off the space heater.
Right. And you're comfortable while you're in that
Comfortable.
room.
It's a little cool when you get in there, but it does not take long for that space heater to start kicking out the heat. Once it does and you get comfortable, then stop it. Now, we also have a fan back there, so I put the space heater to where it points toward the fan, and then I have the fan help
circulate
just
that heat.
bring that heat down. Just blows down so the heat doesn't rise. It
Yeah.
just keeps it down.
Another situation we see a lot of times that works well as a temporary solution is in bathrooms. Instead of you wake up in the morning, you're getting ready to get in the shower, and you want it to be a little bit warmer in your bathroom, instead of kicking the furnace up and heating the whole house, shut the door, turn on the space heater, let that space heater run the 10 minutes or however long you're in the shower, and then turn it off. And you've just used
Solve the problem.
that small amount
Small room.
for a short amount of time in a small room.
And it shouldn't take very long to warm it up.
Right.
Yeah. That's
So-
a good,
so that's
very
another-
good point to make.
Temporary, short term, however
Right.
you want to put it, but
But in getting back to the overall, though, that heat pump that we're talking about, which is actually taking heat from the ground, which is the neat thing. It is a real good way. When you got a day like we're going to have today, 47, you don't need a lot of heat. Boy, it's a perfect thing. It just keeps the house comfortable.
right.
You don't hardly even know it comes on, and you're not having the blower motor's not on. You don't really feel too much. Every now and then you'll hear it come on, but not that
Right.
often. And it has a backup source as well if
Right.
it gets really cold.
Right.
So think about it. Take a look. It may be perfect for your home.
And ask your heating and cooling
Expert.
expert if and like you said to start the conversation off, if you've realized that you need to upgrade your system or you're needing to replace it, this is the time where you're usually finding out that you've got problems. So before you make a decision to just replace it with what you had before, ask those questions, look at the price difference, take into consideration what our rebate will be. Sometimes manufacturers have rebates that
That's
are
right.
available. So, maybe you can
Excuse
catch a rebate from a manufacturer and from Intercounty as well. You're
Like a double dip.
that would be nice.
Oh, it would be nice.
You got to kind of shop around and
Exactly.
see what's available. But
Exactly.
you could, a lot of times with these rebates, you can put in a heat pump for the same price you could put in an electric furnace or your gas furnace. So look into that. And
You need to do some homework
Right.
on this and make sure. And also make sure that you talk with your heating and cooling professional, that you definitely want to make sure that you have one that fits the size of your home. So many units years ago were undersized. So they have to work harder and harder and harder to heat your home. So you definitely want to make sure you have one that's large enough that basically you don't want it to go over 80% capacity. If you have to go over 80% capacity of your furnace or your air conditioner, it's going to be on a lot.
it's working a lot.
It's working way too hard, and your chances of failure, breakdown, malfunction, any of the three above, becomes greater. I mean, it really does. It becomes so much harder. So think about it. There's a lot of good things to do. The rebate program is there for you, and it's not just on heat pumps.
It's not. We have rebates on water heaters. We have rebates on smart thermostats. That was new this past year. So insulation, I believe the insulation rebate is just if you are putting in a heat pump. Then we've got a little bit of a rebate if you insulate your crawl space or your basement or whatever it might be. So if you're thinking about doing home improvements, if you're thinking about purchasing something new to try to be more efficient in your home, give us a call, ask us about a rebate program, or as I mentioned, hop online and take a look, because maybe there's a rebate out there for you.
Sure. And don't forget to check out, if you're really taxed on your home with heating, check out the Light Heat program through
Right.
through the state, and that can help you out a lot. And they can actually help you seal those cracks and get that insulation you need, but also
Helps you stretch those
stretch
energy dollars.
those dollars a little bit, because don't think that help is there. You just have to find it. But stopping leaks is a big deal. We know that, whether it be summer or winter.
Right.
You don't feel it too much when we had a day like with 66 on Sunday or whatever, Saturday.
Right.
Well,
Saturday. It was
you-
beautiful.
You didn't feel a leak. No big deal. With 66 below, you're going to feel that leak.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and when the wind blows, excuse me.
It feels much colder.
But the wind blows and you see things moving in your home, you've got a leak,
Right.
an air leak. Now, it may not be a major air leak, but it doesn't matter. A major air leak, a little minor air leak, it doesn't matter. You're getting colder air coming in your home, and you may want to seal that up as best you can. And
Right.
of course, right now, you can't go caulk. It's too cold to do the caulking. So the best thing you can do is maybe there has some window sealing kits. You can't obviously seal a door off if that's the only door you use.
Right.
But if the weather
Replace
stripping on
that
the bottom, change that out. Or some people do, they get a little bit thicker weather stripping along the edges, and for the winter, I mean, it's a temporary, if nothing else, temporary fix until you can actually get it warm enough to fix the problem correctly. Do what you have to do to start solving some of those problems. Energy audits will help show you that. You can sign up for those. Still a very popular thing, but don't think they'll be there tomorrow.
Right. There is a list of members who have requested energy audits. That is a service that we provide for free to our members. And especially this time of year is when people are interested. Hey, it feels colder in my home. I'm using a lot of kilowatt hours. What can I do to save? And that's usually what kind of sparks that interest in the energy audit. They'll call, let us know they're interested. We'll get you on a list. And when we get down to your name, we'll give you a call, or close to your name, and we'll give you a call and ask what days are
still
good for
interested?
you. Are
Yeah.
you still interested?
Yeah.
Because what we do is we come out to your home with an infrared camera, and we do a walkthrough. So it is necessary for one of the homeowners to be present when we do that. And we walk through and we show you problem areas. And I will tell you, the majority of times, the homeowner knows. And as you mentioned, if you feel a cold draft, or maybe you see a little daylight around the door, you've got a problem. But not only are we pointing out these areas, but we're giving suggestions on how to fix it, what you can do to make it better.
You know what some people don't realize, especially if they've did not build their own home. Okay, so you don't really know where the water pipes are coming in and things of that nature. That
Right.
nobody may have sealed around those. So all of your floor feels cold all the time, and you've got cabinets and everything down. Doesn't matter. There's cold air coming in from those areas right around your water lines that are coming in, your drain line going out.
That
if you've got a
foam insulation makes a
but if you
big difference.
you don't know it, or if it's underneath the cabinet
right.
and you don't know it, and it's coming through your subfloor, well, you almost have to go underneath into your crawl space, or underneath from the bottom side in your basement, and then you need to fill it. If you have a basement, more than likely you're not feeling that cold air, but
Right.
crawl space you would. However, I mean, there are ways of doing it. Yes, you can definitely go in there, like you're saying, with insulation, tack it in around there. There's a foam insulation. There's you can go get your the pink stuff. I don't want to give anybody a free ad, but stuff it in. You can do whatever you
Right.
want. Remember, that's fiberglass, so make sure you wear gloves
Yeah.
and tuck it in. But there's so many things that come through the floor. If you have a gas stove, there's a gas line coming through. Air can get in around that. A water line coming to your refrigerator for your ice maker. There's a hole in your wall. Those little hole in the walls don't sound like much till
they
you get
add
a
up.
real cold day, and that cold air comes trickling in, and cold goes down.
Settles right
Down to
under your
that
feet.
floor, and then it creeps out from underneath that refrigerator. And as soon as you get by the refrigerator, you're thinking, man, is this floor cold? Or right by the dishwasher, man, is this floor cold? Won't know why. I just gave you a hint.
Yeah.
It could be that way. So,
Right.
again, there are a number of different things in your home you may not even be familiar with. Another one, Heather, and I think we had this in Intercounty's magazine a couple of months back, is around your ductwork. People forget ductwork shifts over the years. You have a cover on it. the cover looks good.
Right.
When you pull it up, all of a sudden that metal's pulled away and there's that gap to your crawl space, and that's cold air flying through.
Right through. And the warm air is not getting down where it needs to go. You know, we talked earlier about this is the time of year when you realize you may have problems with your heating system. Maybe it doesn't need to be replaced. Maybe it just needs some maintenance. Maybe those ducts have been knocked loose
Or they're dirty.
or they're dirty. That's another very likely possibility. But if you have a crawl space that's accessible to critters, we see a lot of times with mobile homes where the underpinning is not in real great condition. Those pipes, that ductwork is warm in the winter, and they like to, bump right up against that and try to stay warm. Well, a little nudge can knock that loose, and then all of a sudden there's your trunk line, and that back bedroom isn't as warm as it used to be because not all that heat is getting there. So maybe you don't have to replace your heating system. Maybe it just
Needs a little TLC.
That's right. So pay attention to those changes that you notice, whether it's a cool back bedroom or a cold floor around your refrigerator. Those are all indicators of an area where you can improve the efficiency.
Right. And let's not forget too. Ductwork is made out of metal. Okay,
That's
and
right.
they have seams around it. However, when it goes from the heating season to the cooling season, there's a major difference. Your ductwork gets hot and cold, so it's cold underneath your house.
Right.
And you put heat in it, it's going to expand. So it pushes. In the winter, summer, it does just the opposite. It's hot, it's expanded, and you hit that cold air in there, and it contracts. You do that for about 25 years, and I guarantee you there's going to be some seams that have gotten compromised a little bit, so you're losing a little bit of your air. Well, if it's gotten compromised a lot, you're losing a lot of your air. So you're heating your crawl space or cooling it off, which is probably those critters are loving that. They're down there having a party. And in the meantime, you're suffering up on top with the high electric bills or
And not
energy
as much
bills
comfort.
and not as much comfort. So think about that. Have your energy professional go down there and check that. They can tape it. If you say, please go tape all my seams. If you ask them to do it, there'll be a charge to it, but then if they're all been retaped, that you're not leaking any air out of there. And I guarantee you, most of your ductwork is held up by straps. And over time, when they heat, they grow, they expand, contract, some of those straps break.
They do.
And down, it's not broken to where
Just sagging.
it's still there, but it's sagging. And if it's sagging, guess what? That seam on the bottom is really being stressed.
Yeah.
So it probably has a separation in there. Again, these are all just ideas. And I know people say, well, how come you guys always tell us about all the bad things that can happen? Because this might be why you're having a problem.
Right.
We're not trying to say that's happening in your home.
Right.
But if you're having an excessively high heating bill and you notice your crawl space is 86 degrees, you probably have that issue.
And it's an opportunity to save. And that's really what we
it.
want our members. We're a co-op. That means we're not for profit. We're not interested in making a lot of money over what we need to operate. And when we do, we return it.
Give it
That's
back.
those capital credit checks. That's those discounts that we gave back this year. We want to break even. We want to maintain the financial security of the co-op. We want to, make sure that should something happen in the future, we've got some money available to be able to go out in the case of a natural disaster and replace the poles that need replaced. But we're not trying to just make a lot of money off of you. If you've got an area in your home that's causing you excessive usage, we want you to be able to fix it. So let us know if you think your bill's higher than it should be. Maybe it's taken a jump recently and you don't know why. Give us a call. Maybe we can help you figure it out. Maybe you've got an issue with your well pump running all the time, or it's very rare, but we had a situation where a lady, her air conditioning and her furnace were running simultaneously. Don't ask me how that works. It was an issue with the heat pump, and the air was running, and then the heat's kicking on, and then the heat's making the air come on, and it was a mess. It was a very high electric bill. But she noticed that. She was keeping track of her usage with Smart Hub, checking it every few days. she saw the jump in usage. She contacted us, and we were able to come out, do some amp readings, help her find out what was wrong so that
it could be repaired.
she could get it fixed.
Yeah. Now you guys don't fix it.
We don't
can't
fix
do that.
it, but we did help her find what it was.
Help isolate the problem. And
Right.
this is also the time of year, and we don't want to, like I said, we always, it seems like people say, well, you always talk about the negative. Well, the negative is what drives your bills up. Usually it's not the positive that drives your bills up. But we always talk about electric water heaters. This is hard water down here. They do calcify, and after a while, those elements can burn out. Then we always talk about Smart Help, where you can actually keep an eye on that. You may see a level at, I'm going to say at $3 a day. I'm going to make this as an example. And $3 a day, $3 a day. It never changes. You got that electric water here, and all of a sudden it goes up to 12. And it stays at 12. You probably have an element out in your water heater. It goes that fast. It doesn't give you a little warning.
Right.
Doesn't sit there and put a little. I think they should have put a light on the outside when the element
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
stays on. It should just could stay red, and then that way you would know. But surprise, they don't do that.
Look, there's another idea.
Yeah. I tell you, I got bunches of them. But an element out in your water heater, you would never know because you're still getting hot water. It's still, one of them is still working. You should have two. Some
Right.
actually have three now. Then they're not using as much energy because they have three. So they don't have to heat that whole 40-gallon tank with two of them. And the top water is the last to be used. So it's supposed to go out the bottom and top. Now they've actually made some that have the top water being used first.
Oh,
So they've changed them around. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Interesting.
I don't know how that. Why would I heat the bottom?
if you're pulling out of
Because
the
the
top.
heat goes up, so the hot water would rise anyway. You would think, why would I? I understand the premise of it because the hottest water's on top
Right.
when it's going. So anyway, but to make a long story short, these are great things just to kind of keep in mind. There are answers to a lot of your questions out there. Smart Hub's a great way to keep track.
Great tool.
Really good idea. Some of the people with prepaid electric can also keep track of that. So if you know you're on a tight budget and you're prepaying your electric, watch it, monitor it. Because if something goes haywire and you're not aware of it and you're on a limited budget, you do not want to be caught with no electric.
Right.
And that's not the thing you want to do.
Right.
One of the last things that I want, unless you got something else
No,
to
you're
talk
okay.
about, is we talk about space heaters. We talk about, they've gotten a lot better, but they are still a danger because people, we haven't had the snow and stuff yet. I think you might know where I'm coming from.
I know where you're going.
But they come in, they got the mittens, they got the hat, and they got the shirt and the coat,
And they're wanting
and
to
they're
dry
cold,
them out.
and they want to dry them out. They want to get them warm, and where do they put them? Right over that space heater.
Space heaters are a huge fire hazard. And I think we talk about this every year, and we'll continue to talk about it every year because we don't want anybody to lose their home to a fire. Very, very tragic thing to happen any time of the year. But space heaters, there's a heating element, and they may be safer than what they were when I was a kid and you had the exposed
the orange,
the orange and
a little grill in front of it that's going to
Yes,
keep your hand from
that
going
will
in there.
Leave you a nice little grill
Oh,
singe
yeah.
marks
It can
on your
look
hand
like a hot dog when you
or
put
your
your hand on
leg
there.
or whatever it touches it. They are safer. I will say that. A lot of these have a tip
Right.
feature, so if they tip, they do turn off. But there's still a heating element there, and you really got to be careful to keep space around that space heater. 3 feet is what manufacturers recommend, and I know not everybody reads those manufacturers' directions, but you should. You've got to leave space around that. Don't set it up next to drapes or at the end of your bed where in the middle of the night the comforter slides over the top of it. We don't recommend that you even leave them running at night
Right.
while you're asleep or while you're away from home. As we mentioned earlier, they're a temporary solution. They're not a permanent method of heating your home. You don't want to leave those on while you're gone. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. And
But you're right, and it is. They have to breathe. Remember,
They do.
There's air that has to go into them so that the air can come out of them. And I know people will tell me, well, that radiator one I have doesn't have it. And I said, yes, it does. Look on there. You'll see the air holes
Right.
right there, and it has to breathe. If you cover that up and it can't breathe, it's going to overheat. When it overheats, it's going to spark. And when it sparks,
And you've got
and
stuff
that
up.
little mitten that you think isn't a big deal catches on fire, you're going to think twice about that little mitten that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Like the little train that could.
Yeah.
The little mitten did.
Yeah.
You
So
can start a big fire. So please be very, very cautious of these. And we don't mean to just try and scare anybody, but it is this normal thing that I know people do. I remember as a kid, we had the in the floor vents.
Mm-hmm.
We came in from being out in the snow. Where we put the gloves and stuff?
Right over the vent.
So the house gets cold, but our gloves are toasty.
Yeah, they're drying fast, so you
Yeah.
can get back out there later.
So you know what I'm saying? I know this happens, so I
Right.
know when
Throw 'em
people
in
have
the dryer.
space heaters. Throw them in the dryer.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't
or
leave
just
them.
hang them up above, and then the air's going to blow on anyway. Just hang it up above,
Right.
and it'll warm up eventually, so it'll dry out. So that's that was my last thing to say. I
Yeah.
don't have anything else.
Give them space. Don't leave those space heaters running while you're not at home or while you're asleep. And make sure, and this is with not just space heaters, but any type of electrical, anything with a cord.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have that cord in a high traffic area. It's going to be a trip hazard, and you could hurt yourself or, cause, depending on what it is, you could cause further problems. So make sure those cords are not across the doorway or in a real high traffic area.
Right. Or don't plug too many things into one cord.
Yeah,
It's a good idea too.
yeah.
All right.
Extension cord.
I
to
don't really
extension
have
cord.
anything else. Do you have anything
No,
else that
just
you want to talk about?
real quick. Roundup is today. It's always the
Mm-hmm.
second Tuesday of the month, and just remind you if you are participating in Operation Roundup, huge thank you to you. Without you, we do not have a Roundup program. If you want to participate, incredibly easy to contribute to the program and round your bill up to the next nearest dollar. But most importantly, if you found yourself in a time of need, that can happen to anyone. There's no shame in asking for help. We have now over 14,000 accounts participating in Roundup. That's huge.
Good job.
That is huge. And
You
I
did
really
well, Heather.
I really think that speaks volumes about our members and their willingness to help others. And, we wouldn't have 14,000 accounts signed up if they weren't interested in helping. So please let us know if you need a
How
little
many
bit of
membership
help.
numbers is that?
I don't know, because there's members that have multiple
I know.
accounts.
I just thought I'd throw you for a knuckle curve. I thought you should have that memorized by
I
now.
don't know if we've got a report that we may have to write a report that would show that. We just show number of accounts, but you and your ideas today.
Well, wouldn't it
I'll
be,
see if I can find out.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to know how many,
How many
members,
members?
are actually doing it? I mean, you have accounts. You have over 14,000 accounts.
Right.
They're doing it. But how many,
many
members
members?
are actually doing it? Because you said some members have multiple accounts.
They do. Yep. So let us know if you need help. We will get an application to you in the mail. We have those available on our website at ieca.coop. We can fax it to you. We can email. We will get you an application.
Absolutely.
If you need help.
Get it in by the end of the month, though.
We meet each month. So today we're reviewing applications that were received by the last day of December. So if you get your application into us by the last day of January, you'll be considered at the meeting in February, which will be whatever the second Tuesday is.
It's on
It's
something
calendar
behind
me.
it. Should be. How about lifting?
It'll be the 12th.
12th. There you go. It'll
So,
be
We
it'll be
will.
Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah, we'll
We
meet
can't
and-
say that, can we? Because they have President's Day now,
President's
and all
Day.
the presidents are born the same day.
Well, you just celebrate them all on the same day.
I always like
Anyway, we will meet. We will go over applications, and hopefully, if you found yourself in a time of need, you turn that in, and maybe we can
Right.
get you some help.
You know what today is?
The
Today is
8th?
Elvis's birthday.
Oh,
So I mean, it's like should be a national holiday, right?
why are you here?
I don't know. I mean, I played his music this morning, so but 84. He'd have been 84. today.
84.
I doubt if he'd been swiveling his hips anymore, but
You don't
never
know.
know. You never know.
We get one of those swivel rockers. You may
Yeah.
have been able to
Bless my
Yeah.
soul.
get in your little spinny
Hey,
chair
hey,
there.
Mama. Hey, Mama, get that thing off the floor. No, but it's good stuff. Anyway, well, thank you for coming
Yeah,
by.
thank you.
Appreciate you coming over. At least a nice day. In January, you just never know.
I know, it's pretty
so
today.
beautiful day. And we want to remind everybody, if you do have any questions about your account, you need to find out something about an outage, anything like that, Smart Hub is really a great tool to have. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. I don't know what else I was trying to say there. Between one word and another, it wasn't coming out. But you can get the app for your smartphone. You can put it on your laptop computer.
Right.
And you can monitor everything going on with your electric. And that's very, very important. And I think it's more important now than ever before.
Right.
But also, you can check out different things that Intercounty has to offer. Levelized billing. Talk about that. You can pay your bill by phone. You can do that if it's got to the last minute and you went,
Yep.
oh, I forgot.
Log in and pay through the app.
You can stop in Mountain Grove, Licking, or Rolla.
That's right.
And pay at the service center. And if you have any questions about getting service, establishing service, give them a call at the customer service center. Or if you're thinking about building a new home, no better time than right now to call them and say, hey, we're thinking about building this home out on whatever highway.
Right.
And we need to know, because there's no service there, it's going to be out in the middle of this. We need to know what it's going to cost to bring electric service to our home.
Yeah. And we've talked about this
Many times.
but a lot of that depends on easements and where we can bring the line to you from where we can bring the line to you. So, if you're thinking about building a new home and you have a general idea of where you want it, give us a call, let us know. We'll get an engineer out and they can start doing that legwork to find out how they're going to get power to that location. And once they figure that out, then they can get you an estimate on what kind of cost you're
Right.
looking at.
And one of and the reason we say this, and some people say, well, I see the line right there.
Doesn't always.
Yeah, well, you see the line right
Yeah.
there, but it doesn't mean they can do anything right there. So doesn't mean that much, as you're mentioning, but get with Intercounty. It's a good time to do it. Also, even for the, we talked about the different audits that you might want to do, energy audits, you might want to do that. So get with Intercounty. You just call. All you got to do is call one number and get so much
number.
information. And that one number is?
866-621-3679.
Now, that's not the number you call to pay your bill, though you could call that number. You're going to get over there.
We could
but,
transfer you.
But if you just want to pay your bill directly, if you're waiting until 11:59 to pay your bill, which I really don't recommend, but if you are and
Right.
need to pay your bill, you can call this number.
You can call 888-678-1987.
Or you can pay your bill on Smart Hub.
You can, and that's really easy.
Yeah. So, or you can just do it the old-fashioned way. You can still take it to banking locations around
You
town.
can. You can mail it in.
You can mail it in.
You
There
can
go.
drop it in a night drop. You can bring it to our office during business hours. Rolla
you
and
go.
Mountain Grove have a drive-through, so you could take
There
it
you
through a
go.
drive-through.
There you go. So
Lots of ways.
lots of different ways to get that bill paid. Or go on levelized billing and automatic withdrawal. You can do both,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it.
I would still recommend you monitor how much you're
Well,
actually
you do
using.
want to monitor.
But
That's not-
no, you don't have to make any effort
If you're a
to.
snowbird and you're down in Florida, you don't want to remember that it's February
Yeah,
12th.
that's
And
true.
my bill is due at 11:59. And you're thinking, I'm out of time. Well, actually, it's only 10:59 here when you're down there. So you actually had another hour.
You're really waiting to the last minute, aren't
Yeah,
you?
you really are.
Yeah, that's
So,
okay.
but if you already have
It
an
happens.
automatic withdrawal,
It's taken care
it's
of.
taken care of. You don't
That's
have to
right.
worry about it. So your bill is always going to be paid. Now, of course, when you get back, and then you can see that your bill was paid, take it out of your account. When you go and monitor your account, you see that your bill is 3 times the normal amount of electric. Either one, you've got a lot of neighbors using your house, or you got a problem. So,
Yeah.
so sometimes it's good to be able to monitor down Smart Hub anyway,
Yes.
even from a distance, which you
That's
can
right.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yep.
good.
Log in
Lot-
and see it.
A lot of different ways to stay on top of your expenses, and that's usually a huge key in energy savings, because if you know what's happening to your home, that's when you can correct the problems before it gets out of hand.
Absolutely.
Oh, thanks
thank
for coming.
you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Anyway, we'll have Heather or somebody from Intercounty here in February. More than likely it'll be you, right?
Yep, it should be me.
Okay, so we will get you up to date on what's going on with the youth tour and get you that information. Hopefully the cutoff dates for the schools by next time we get together, you will have that information. And maybe a special Valentine's gift. Who knows? Well, it's February 12th.
It is. It's pretty close to
Pretty
Valentine's,
close.
isn't
So,
it?
you know, got to think about those things,
Okay.
Heather.
Have to cut out some paper hearts and bring them
Paper
over.
hearts, little cupids out there
Yeah.
with real arrows. No! Anyway, nonetheless, but we want to thank you for coming by. Our friends from Intercounty, right here in the Dane County, they do a tremendous job. And
Thank
again,
you.
we always want to tip our caps to the linemen and stuff out there. And I know they've had a last 4 or 5 days. They've been smiling because if something went wrong, it was nice. But
Yeah.
they're starting talking about some snow possibly this weekend. You know, things start
Yeah.
to change, and we all know about ice storms, and they can come up at any time. But we've been, knock on wood, very fortunate. But kind of keep that in mind. You see a guy out there working on the line or something of that nature, you know, go out and say, hey, thanks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's not a fun job when that weather's nasty.
It's not. And that's when they're at their best. And we're really fortunate to have such a great group of linemen at Intercounty that really are just willing at any time, day or night, jump in, get the job done, stay until the job is done. So members should be proud of that. They should be proud of those guys.
They really should. And, you know, with the tree cutting trimming program, a lot of outages have been reduced, you know, and, you know, there really has been such a concentrated effort with the automatic meter readers put in years ago to really make it easy on the owners of the co-op, because you are the owners. I mean, you really are. You are the members. You make it happen. So it's been a wonderful journey, and it's just gotten better and better and better. But they keep looking for ways to make it better,
Yeah.
like providing electric stations for your electric cars.
Yeah.
Or at least we're going to find out what the children think.
Yeah. I'll have to share some of their ideas
That would
after
be neat.
after the contest is over.
There are a lot of areas in Missouri that have no electric charging stations.
Mhm.
Lots of them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I saw one in Rolla the other day.
There's one in Rolla. The first one I saw was in Columbia.
There's one on Post.
And but I don't know of any south of Rolla at all. I'd say maybe West Plains. Maybe.
They would probably be the first one.
Yeah. Well, I know there's nothing in between there. And unless it just went in. So
Right.
I can't say there's nothing unless I don't know about it. But I travel through those areas a lot with the sports and stuff. And if there's an electric charging station, I would think I might know about it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of motels nowadays are starting to put in one.
A charging station.
So, you know, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You know, you get 15 minutes, they get 15.
Well, I'll be sure to pull some highlights out of some of those
Yeah, and-
essays after the contest is
Well,
over
you know,
and share
you know,
those.
and a neat. Well, I need to leave it to the kids, but you know, one of the things that when they were talking about making these charging stations, is that how much are they going to charge your car?
Right. And
Well-
that's part of what should Intercounty's role be.
Well, right, but I mean,
Yeah.
but okay, how much do you charge? Do you use a credit card and you don't know what it's going to charge your card, or how much is it going to give you 25 minutes of charging and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're down near the big E on energy left in your battery, 25 minutes is not going to be that much.
Yeah.
You know, it might get up to a quarter of your
Right.
battery, but
And how does the charging station know if you just unplug it and wait a couple minutes and pull back in and
it probably wouldn't.
yeah.
No.
So
Well, that doesn't mean you can't go back. You're still going to be paying for a service, but if nobody else is in
Right.
line.
right.
Now,
Lots
you
of
get a bunch of
questions.
people in line,
Then
they're going to start
Yeah.
they'll start pushing your
Uh-huh.
car out of the way.
yeah.
No, you know, but but it is a real life situation that is going to become a reality at one time sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something good. Maybe make them think,
Yeah.
because it may affect them somewhere down the road.
It more than likely will
Yeah,
affect them.
It really will. That's a really good topic. You guys did good without my help on that one. At KS Radio 1340, thank you, Heather. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Keep it here. We got our Civic Record coming up.
When you need your oil changed in a hurry, stop in at Night Auto Care's fast